It's January 2021 and I've just broken up with my girlfriend. I'm feeling very, very frustrated because the last couple of relationships I've had have gone the same way. Nothing's really stuck, nothing's really lasted, and it all just feels a bit empty, a bit meaningless, and I've had enough. I want to find my person. I want to find the love of my life, my soulmate. And yeah, I've just been through those dating apps and meeting people in real life, and none of it was working for me. I just, one after the other, none of them were right. And I was near the point of giving up. And one of my friends was like, nah, go on, get back on the horse and you'll find someone. And I didn't really listen to him at the time and thought, yeah, whatever. But I did take his advice and I got back on. And I happened to, the exact day that I downloaded that app again, I got Hinge back and reset up my profile. The very same day I matched with a girl. I dropped her a message and 5 years later, she became my wife. And it's really funny to me that such a small choice, such a small decision just to get back on that app that day led to that event. Completely changed my life. I now am very happily married and have a wonderful relationship with my wife. She is my soulmate, and it's pretty amazing to me that just that one little choice that I made to get back on the horse, to get back on a dating app, even when I was really frustrated with the whole thing, was able to change my life in such a dramatic way. And it gets even better because not only had I just downloaded the app that day, my wife was also thinking of deleting the app the very same day. She had got frustrated with not being able to find anyone and had pretty much given up. So she was about to delete the app. So the fact that we just crossed over at that exact period in time amazes me. And to take it one level deeper, actually, I wasn't a Christian at this point. I'd kind of turned my back on God, but I'd sent a prayer up before I re-downloaded the app and was like, God, if you're there, just send me the one. I can't be bothered with this anymore. And what do you know? He did. My prayer was answered. But that one choice to do that and to send that prayer up, the small choice to re-download the app, the small choice to send a message to my now wife, completely transformed my life. And it makes me think a lot about the choices that we make on a day-to-day basis. Those little things that seem insignificant at the time, but actually can have huge, huge impacts on our lives down the road. And for me, those small decisions that we make every day are just as important as the ones that have those life-changing events happen to us. Because it really adds up over time, it compounds. Those small choices we make compound over time and it becomes who we are. Take exercise, for example. You could make the choice every day to sit on the sofa, to watch Netflix, to eat some junk food and to not move. Or you can make the decision every day to have some fruit and vegetables in your diet, to get up, go for a walk, perhaps go to the gym, do some push-ups and pull-ups, just something to move your body. And those two seemingly small choices on a day-to-day basis, if you were to extrapolate that over the period of 5 or 10 years, I think you would agree with me that the differences would be pretty dramatic. The person who sat on the sofa and ate junk food, didn't really move, is probably going to be overweight by that 5 or 10 year period. Their strength, their posture is going to be degraded. And also their mental health likely isn't going to be very good, is it? But the person on the other side who made the small choice every day to get up and go for a walk, to eat healthily, to exercise their body, to move, they're going to be in a much better position. They're going to have a good physique, they're going to have muscle, they're going to be lean, and likely their mental health is also going to be much better because exercise is one of the best things we can do for our mental health. So you look at those two small choices. They may not be as dramatic and as life-changing in the instant as me matching and messaging my wife was, but they do have the same kind of impact when you look at the timeline. You just have to extend it. And so what can we be doing on a day-to-day basis other than exercise with those small choices that we make to ensure that we end up in 5 to 10 years in the best place we can be, and not looking back with regret, not looking back with frustration? Well, I think there is really 10 things that are fundamental to living a good life, living a healthy life, and they're small habits that over time have a huge impact on how we operate, how we live, and what our lives look like on a day-to-day basis. You can find out more information about those. There's a short ebook and a course linked in the description, but I'll just cover them briefly here. So resting on a day-to-day basis, something that we may not think to do, seems quite counterintuitive really, doesn't it, with the hustle culture that we are fed. But actually taking some time to rest, to slow down, is really key, because for many of us, we're running on this cycle of burnout, that we start something, we get really into it, we're motivated for a couple of weeks, and then we crash and burn. The same thing happens time after time after time, and we never build up any momentum. We never get any real change because we're doing too much. We're always overzealous in our efforts. And so, taking some time to rest every day is really important. Reading, journaling, and some form of spiritual practice, whether that be prayer or meditation or breath work, again, all really key fundamental habits that I believe will transform who you are as a person. If we're constantly learning, constantly regulating our emotional state, and constantly giving things over to God, or just even quieting our thoughts or our anxieties, that's going to have a fundamental difference to our life. And then we look at the diet and the exercise as well, and think, if I'm moving every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes, doing some push-ups or pull-ups, eating some fruit and vegetables every day, drinking my water, making sure I'm hydrated, those 3 are going to be another set of habits that are just going to make such a difference across that time horizon that we discussed. And then we look at creativity as well. Creativity is a fundamental thing to human beings. Even if you don't think you are creative, I guarantee that there is something in your life where you are creative. It may be problem solving, or it may be cooking, could be gardening. There are so many different things that you can be creative at. Woodwork or drawing, anything really where you're using your imagination to bring something into reality. That is creativity, and it's such a fundamental practice to have in our lives. When we lack creativity, life can feel very, very stagnant, and we can almost grind to a halt in the way that we kind of view the world, I suppose. Those creative juices stop flowing, and we just get very sedated. We get very flat because all we're doing is consuming, and we're not doing what we were made to do, which is to create, to do as the Father does. And then finally is also to reflect on our day-to-day life. I like to just write a line or two every day about what I did that day and any sort of standout moments, because you look back through your life, and if I asked you what you were doing last Tuesday, you probably don't remember, do you? Unless it was like your birthday or a special event. Last Tuesday was last Tuesday, it was the same as every other Tuesday. But actually, just holding on to a few of those little moments each day and reflecting on them on a regular basis can help to keep our memory fresh, keep our memory healthy, but also it fills the space a bit more. It stops us from just feeling like months go by in the blink of an eye, when we can actually look back and see what we did every day. So they're my 10 habits, and as I say, there's a link down in the description if you want to look at these in more detail and see how to actually implement them into your life in a sustainable way. But I found that just those small little choices that I make every day have really transformed my life from a place where I felt really lost, I felt really down and didn't really know what direction to turn in, to a place where now I feel like I have a very good level of, just a very good baseline, a very good foundation in my life. And I want that for you too, which is why I've put these together and why I'm making these videos as well. So if what I've said today has resonated with you, do check out those links in the description. They'll help you out. And until next time, take care. Thanks ever so much for watching. God bless.